951 will be our song in just a moment. Majesty. For just a moment, I'd like to tell you something that you already know. And let me go ahead and put this on. My voice is a little weak tonight. Jesus is the only major world religion founder who had no beginning in time or space. We're going to talk about some people that are major religion world founders of religion. Just a minute. But we look in John 1, verses 1 and 2, and it tells us, John tells us, in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And he, Jesus, was with God in the beginning. And you can read more about it. But no other religious leaders, including Muhammad, Buddha, Joseph Smith, ever claimed themselves as God or equal with God. Jesus is unique and standing alone on making this claim. Jesus is the superior religion maker. Jesus eternally pre-existed as God the Son in the Godhead, with God the Father and God the Holy Spirit. And Christians believe that they are separate persons, but they are one, and they are separate. In John 10:25, Jesus is answering a question by some Pharisees. And he says, I did tell you, but you do not believe, talking about his sheep. The works I do in my Father's name testify about me. Then John 10:19, 20, and 30 says, my Father who has given them to me is greater than all. No one can snatch them out of my Father's hand. Talking about his sheep. And verse 30, I and the Father are one. Now, if they just listened to Jesus, they would have known who he was. And Jesus keeps telling them that they didn't know who he was, that they didn't know who his Father was. And he says, they are like their father, the devil. The Bible teaches that Jesus existed externally and had no chronological order. He was there, he has been there, and he will be there. He used the same wording that God used to Moses to tell the people. Moses said, who shall I tell them you are? He says, tell them I am. Jesus is here now, was here, and will be here. Number 2, Jesus Christ is the only major world religion founder who came into the world as he did. Though he pre-existed with God, the Bible indicates he entered this world in a unique way. He was born into the world physically as a result of a virgin birth. According to Matthew 1:20 through 21, an angel of the Lord informed Joseph not to fear taking his betrothed Mary with child as his bride, because what is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. And she will give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins. Thus, Jesus, among all the religious leaders, was conceived miraculously and born of a virgin. None of them came into the world that way. There's a man called Baha'u'llah. He's the supreme so-called prophet of the Baha'i faith. He was conceived and born in the ordinary way. Joseph Smith, and I've got the dates there by the people, 1805 to 1844. He was born the ordinary way. Also Buddha, 560 to 480 BC. Mohammed in AD 570, 632. And Confucius in 551 to 479 BC. They were all born in the normal way. Number 3, no other religious leaders claimed that they are the truth and the life, nor did they claim that they are the only way to God. Jesus did. All other religious leaders showed certain principles about good things, but the difference is that if Jesus said he is the way to God, he's not just giving good principles. He is the way and the only way to God. In John 14, Thomas asked Jesus, how could they know the way he was going? And Jesus answered, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you really know me, you will know my Father as well. From now on, you do know him and have seen him. He is the only way, the only truth, and the only source of life is Jesus. No one comes to the Father but through his Son, Jesus. And in John 14:9, anyone who has seen me has seen the Father. He also tells the Pharisees in another instance, when they ask if he knew Abraham, he says, I not only knew him when Abraham was, I am. He was there with Abraham. So these are 3 things you probably already know, but it's the difference between Jesus Christ, the supreme being, and God, and people that have started religions today. If you're subject to the, get this off, invitation, won't you come as we stand, sing the song?
Majesty, worship his majesty.